The Lost Cryptids Conservatory, where we will shatter your reality to bring you closer to the truth.
All right, guys, welcome back to another live show. Hope everyone's doing great tonight, and everyone who watches this later. Of course, we're going to talk about Bigfoot and maybe some other cryptids tonight. We're going to put the link in the chat so people can come on the show if they have an encounter to share, or if they want to discuss Bigfoot or chat, chill, and do whatever. You know, just be a fun night, and we'll have James pop in the call it a little bit later, so we'll look forward to that. So let me check something real quick and get going. So put any question you guys have in the chat. We'll answer them and have some fun tonight. You know, it's Saturday. It's January, you know. Hope everyone's staying warm and doing well and stuff, of course. I hope everyone knows, you know, we just got back from our winter excursion and actually got about a dozen knocks over one night. And we showed them the last live show, and pretty awesome stuff, actually. So, you know, there's Sasquatch definitely on the movement and doing different stuff in winter, and Dogman, too, as Tommy Cooper points out with Cryptovania TV. Great guys over there. Yeah, you know, I actually seen what people would refer to as a dog man. It was a wolf that crossed the road, and then it stood up and ran like a person across the field into the woods. And me and my girlfriend seen it at the same time as we drove our car down the road, and crossed in front of us on purpose. It seemed like, actually, and you know, if it never stood up and ran like a person, and it just was on all fours, I would say it was a very, very large wolf. And this was in Lower Michigan, and nothing about it would have told me anything other than a normal animal, except for it got up and ran like a person into the woods. And my girlfriend can verify that too. So yeah, you know, that would classify as a dog man, I guess, or whatever type of thing is going on. It wasn't like werewolf, buff, humanistic, out of proportions, but it was a wolf, and it had very long legs, and it was built exactly like a wolf was, but nothing other than its movement and how it changed its movement told me anything other than some weird stuff, man. Yeah. But if it never stood up, it would just have been a really big wolf. And would have been out of the area, but not impossible in here in Michigan. But so we don't know what's going on with that. These wolves that look normal and get up and start going like this and stuff with their arms, and even in their locomotion becomes human. I mean, it doesn't become wolf. It becomes you stand up and runs like a person, and arm movement, leg movement, head up and stuff. It's. I mean, I don't know. Other than that's what happened. So you take it what it is, and happened in a blink of an eye, and it is right. It's just right here in places that you would not expect. So people are seeing stuff. I guess people are definitely seeing these wolves that get up. So and Bigfoot, and people experience other things. We got to dive deeper. UFOs, and I have a video clip of a UFO on here actually, and a plane that goes by, and the plane is blinking because you have to by regulation law, and the UFO is not blinking at all. And so it's a pretty cool video, and I've seen what I call the stick man out in the woods, which is basically a humanoid type of creature that was peeking out behind a tree. A long story short, peeking out behind a tree, it looked like the Lord of the Rings Gollum, very skinny. I mean, his whole arm and stuff was like the size of your wrist and stuff. But it was about 7 feet tall, humanoid, naked, bald. Eyes were kind of stood out and were like yellowish or a type of tan. Anyways, me and my friend seen it. We went back in, told my dad. Dad came out and seen it. So whatever it was, I don't know, but it was here in Michigan. So there's 3 different cryptids, all in the same areas actually, that are completely different, but yet I've experienced. There's other people that have experienced stuff actually. James has experienced the creepy stickman type of thing that he's shared plenty of times, but because there's odd stuff out there. Whatever happens, we're gonna hopefully try to film and be safe about it. But in those encounters, we see the creatures. The stick man and stuff. My friend gets scared, and we retreat and stuff. And the creature just, stood out. Would peek behind the tree, and we would see its arms and stuff and its leg. And when my dad came out, did the same thing because we told him where to look, and it peeked out. And it peeked out way farther, and he got his whole arm and its legs and stuff. It was very slender type of humanoid. So I don't think it was a Bigfoot. It didn't look like a Bigfoot unless it was super hairless and super skinny. I mean, you're talking skeleton wise compared to what a Bigfoot should be at 7 foot tall. So yeah, I mean, what to think about? I don't know. It's out there in the woods, staring at us. Actually, it was not too far away from our house. Fence line. We were gonna go not mess with some cows, but go over, be next to the cows. And we were out at night, and I was already doing my Bigfoot stuff. So when we seen this thing, my friend didn't know what to think, was freaking out, and at first it was peeking up over the tree. It went down like this because we noticed that something didn't seem right, and the moon was out, and went like this, and that's when it started showing itself to us, and we went inside. Yeah. So, but yeah, there's other things out there. People are experiencing stuff, and if you spend enough time out in the woods, you probably will come across odd things, and hopefully we can get it on camera. Hopefully we can get people who have integrity and have the equipment that can show it, because then it will be actually more believable than, I think all these stories are adding up. And before I had my experience with, Dogman, whatever it was, the wolf that stood up, ran like a human, I didn't really give it as much credit. I didn't really believe in it, really. So seeing is believing and experiencing. So it is reminding me that, there is odd things out there that as much time as I spend in the woods here in Michigan, um, I do know for a fact that there's other things out here. There's Bigfoot, and there's just, you never know what you might come across one day. So got to be prepared. Hopefully, have your cameras up. Hopefully, stay safe, and try to film some stuff, and try to get some evidence and show people and stuff. So that's what we did, and tried not to freeze our butts off too bad, actually. But got some great knocks, actually, and got some knocks at two different recorders and stuff that were worked out great, and um, had some fun. So Sasquatches are moving out in the winter. They do actually, in fact, still roam the landscape. They're probably more confined to their most favorable spots, so they can hide their tracks from as many people as possible that would travel into the area. But if they really need to, they will travel out. And when the snowstorms come, of course, wiping out their tracks, they move out and hopefully, we assume, cache their food. Um, Maybe they possibly semi hibernate, or we don't know what exactly goes on. But from our experiences, they definitely still operate at night. So, and the stickman encounter was when I was like 14, 15. And my Bigfoot encounter was before that. So yeah, it was. That's what got me started in this. I was already reading books and watching TV shows and stuff all throughout my childhood, and then took it a little bit more seriously. Was spending time out in the woods for a lot of years, and then 13, 14, 15 and stuff. Took it very seriously and started, actually encountering stuff, and took some experiences, and then, here we are, 18 years later, and over the last few, I would say 10 years, 5 years, even two in last year, even this last month, we've continued to get some good stuff, and actually, over a dozen knocks. So, I mean, we have audio evidence of a dozen knocks that you guys can look at and, take a look at if anyone wants them. We're going to put them up, of course, and we've already shared them, but I'll play some more again. But put the link in the chat real quick. Check. But it is interesting when you actually hear knocks, or you get recordings of knocks, and the wind wasn't windy or anything. It wasn't too bad to cause, people would say, well, trees are breaking, or trees are popping, and trees are doing this, and there's definitely audio for one recorder and another recorder at camp that picks up different stuff. Picks up the loud one, but the one at camp picks up two knocks that maybe are responding or in between, or in a different area, is what I'm thinking as response, because it doesn't get picked up. So I'll post that. Come on, have some fun, chill out, and talk some Bigfoot stories and creepy stuff, some other cryptids, because there's just some odd stuff out there. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So let's play some knocks. Play that one again. Yeah, see, now that one sounded closer to that particular recorder. And so they were in different areas and stuff. It's not just something that's stationary. Uh, and of course, those can be looked at and checked out. If anyone wanted them, I could give them files. We have files and copies, of course. And pretty cool stuff, actually, because we weren't really sure if they were in this particular area, if they were going to be moving around and what they were doing. It is winter. What particular week and day. Uh, but we did get lucky, and we did think that they got actually over a dozen knocks and stuff. And then we actually got a recorder at camp that picked up some stuff, and it was pretty cool, pretty fun stuff. So, why do I think Bigfoot are white? Some are white and stuff. Would probably be possibly a recessive hair gene, I guess. If their hair is linked to like other animals and stuff, I guess. Like a deer, you can have albinos and some odd colors. Of course, in the animal kingdom, seems like some odd markings, and it would be an advantage during the winter, of course, during the snow. So those particular odd white ones, I think a Sasquatch at least maybe, if they're not shunned and stuff, I don't think they may. Because like crows and stuff, white crows and stuff are shunned, and like even humans, albino humans are, potentially hunted and stuff in some countries, and very shunned and stuff, culturally, and in the animal kingdom, some of these recessive albino genes and odd colors actually are seem to be shunned upon. So, but in the Sasquatch world, I don't think it would be like that, because as people, you get over such things as that, and you would have such an advantage in winter that you could, you'd be camouflaged. White Bigfoot in winter would be, camouflaged fully. Potentially more than a regular Bigfoot in any other season, because it matches its complete environment with the exact same color. I mean, Bigfoots are, particularly red or brown or black or white or in between there. They're not green, like leaves and stuff. So, their hair and stuff reflect lights, and you can get into all that and stuff, but they're not green, right? They're not blue. They're white, and in between all the other colors. So, all right, Central Florida Bigfoot Matt. Yeah, you've been doing a lot of work, kicking butt in the Florida swamps, and doing some great stuff, man. Keep it up, man, and get some rest. It's people like what Matt's doing is doing the real work and stuff, and end up being tired at the end. That are gonna find some good evidence. They're gonna get good stuff. It's a matter of time, and so we're rooting for those people, and hopefully everyone can get some good stuff this year. So it's just begun. It's just January and stuff, and a lot of people are pushing hard, hard, hard. So good job. Let's keep it up. So, and make sure you subscribe to him, because he got some beautiful shots and beautiful photography stuff, professional stuff. So, yeah, and check out Tommy Cooper over at Cryptovania TV. They got some great stuff, great programs and stuff you guys can look into that they show, and they have some awesome people over there. So there's a lot of good people out in the Bigfoot community that are doing some wonderful stuff and great work, and actually doing the dedicated work into it and going out and trying to investigate and hopefully find the truth. And stay safe about it, because the fact of the matter is these creatures are very dangerous. I mean, if they're proportionate, any other animal of that proportions can destroy and kill a human pretty fast. So these creatures are not something you want to piss off. So, well, there's reports of witnesses, of course, who've documented and seen white Bigfoot. Actually, there's some groups and stuff on Facebook are dedicated just to white Bigfoot encounters and stuff, and have knowledge of all that. Actually, more than I would actually. So something to look into, maybe on Facebook. But it's just a regular adaptation. I mean, there's just albino deer. There's white deer. There's some odd colors. So. Just like no one says there's no documentation of a Bigfoot being aggressive and killing people or breaking into people's houses and stuff. But that's not really true, because here in Michigan, we have the data alone, thanks to Val, who runs a great group, and he's a data miner who has collected and researched reports and stuff for over the last 10 years. And there's over 1,800, and it's like 1,820 reports here in Michigan alone, which is a lot more than any other database would tell you or has or will show you, BFRO. And from that, there's a lot of data stuff that he's looked at and jotted down. And from what we find is there's actually is a lot of aggressive reports, from the 1950s, from the 1930s, all the way back. There's actually aggressive reports of these hairy creatures, these hairy men killing farmers, bending their guns in half and ripping and twisting heads off. And in other states of the same time period, and of the 60s. Here in Michigan, we have the Monroe monster, which terrorized the town and countryside of Monroe during 1965 and in the years that followed. And on the western side, Monroe was on the eastern side of Lower Michigan. And on the western side of Lower Michigan, there was the Dewey Lake monster, which was a Sasquatch-like creature that terrorized the town and surrounding areas during the same 1965 and a couple years after era and time frame. And these sightings and stuff were pretty aggressive and violent. And they were in the newspaper. They were documented. They were pretty newsworthy at the time. So that was pretty historical. Yeah, how many? I don't know. So that's Squatch Talk. How many? There's the link. How many? What reports of people being killed by Sasquatch? I'm not quite sure. I'd have to ask Val. Particularly here in Michigan, he would know a lot more. He has a North America database that's full of some pretty good stuff, and he's been hard at work, and still it's hard at work every single day, being retired. And from what I've seen, what I've been showed, and from what he shows in his groups, Sasquatches do majority of the time exhibit aggressive tendencies and stuff, or bad behaviors. Like even window peeping and looking in and watching kids and watching people and trying doorknobs and knocking on the door, slapping houses, and all sorts of traits and stuff that could be considered aggressive. It might be considered harassment and stuff like that. So, there's some breakdown of that. Slapping of cars and stuff, throwing stuff at cars. There's some instances of that we know of, and personally know people who have experienced that. Driving down trails here in Michigan, having chunks of wood being thrown at their truck. It is out there. If you look at the witness reports throughout the whole last 100 years and last 200 years and even beyond that, there's actually reports of Bigfoots peeing around people, on people, tents, different stuff like that. So there is actually data of that with actual timestamps and stuff, I guess. I'd probably pull some of that up real quick and reference some of that real quick for you guys. This would be stuff that is accumulated through old newspapers and stuff that would just be on the internet, reports from people who have made them in Facebook groups or however. Well, there's reports and there is, unfortunately, cover-ups and say, bear attacks and stuff. So the evidence is, there's zero evidence of there's no one. There's missing people all over North America in the woods. You're dealing with a 7 to 10 to 12 foot creature that is 800 to 1,500 pounds. It could take a human out anytime it wants. I would say that it does happen because the odds are, with interaction and the individuals and their temperament and different emotional temperaments, you're gonna have situations. Humans have situations with bears and cougars and even turkeys attack people, squirrels attack people. There's things that do happen, and obviously the government knows about it and they would try to hide about it because they do cover stuff up. They already do. So show a tendency of doing that. But let me pull up some stuff. But there are reports and stuff that have dates and stuff, and they are accumulated by our good friend Val, who's been doing it for 10 years and he's doing a damn good job actually. So it's out there, it's accumulated in all the witnesses. Is all these stories and stuff fake? Is all these witnesses for the last 200 years made up stories? So you can't take every story with believe every single story, but there's just certainly people and stories and evidence that you would have to say. And I have talked to people. I've talked to people who I thought were reputable and told me things that obviously Bigfoot is known, known to the government, and they do land management, they do animal management, they know exactly what these things are here. It's not known. There's several park rangers. There's several. You look all across the U.S. who have spoke about it, who are considered believable, who have looked at stuff and gave stuff off the record. So, there's a lot of stuff in Florida. When we were down to Florida 168, there was a wildlife officer who came to camp and asked us what we were doing, because we had, strapping and guns and cameras and everything laid out. He walked right into base camp with all our equipment and everything, and we flat out, Carrie told him, looking for Bigfoot and stuff. And have you seen any? And he said, yeah, we know they're, well, he almost said that they know that they're out there, but changed the subject real fast. So that was almost confirmation that was pretty much caught. So it was very interesting and stuff. And what can you say? They're pretty much everywhere, and they're definitely a lot in Georgia and stuff. When I was driving through Georgia, I'd have to say those mountains, and it was a pretty amazing place. And I would say there is tons of habitat through there. I would say not far outside Atlanta either. Once you get in the countryside, man, I'm telling you, I could easily see it because there's actually reports all through there. But yeah, I'm trying to do a few things here at once. Let me do this. Yes, there are actually a few sightings here and around Macomb and around the cities. Yeah, some of them really old, and actually from the very start of those cities, there was reports of Sasquatches in early Detroit and colonial Detroit. So those whole surrounding areas. Let me look what I was looking for real quick. All right. But yeah, the airports and stuff around some of those cities in the country have Bigfoots that have been reported around there, and actually have screamed at the jetliners as they take off and land. Here in Michigan, once you get outside the countryside, and any kind of countryside, even the farmland, it butts up to some of these areas, Macomb and Macomb County. There is Sasquatch that would be there seasonally and at nighttime mostly. During the day, they have to hunker down and hide from human activity. But at nighttime, the majority of people are not outside tromping through the woods and looking for Bigfoot, of course. And so Sasquatches are able to traverse the landscape because everyone's sleeping. They're in their house. They're not outside. Okay, after 10 o'clock, they're, you might let the dogs out. Your dog hears something. Would you barks at something? What do you think it is? Nothing. But Sasquatches do traverse the landscape. They do utilize different areas to seasonally and private property mostly, and properties that don't have human activity. Mostly in the woods, hopefully during the day, but activity at nighttime. So they can live and thrive and breed. So it's the only way they're surviving. Okay, so you have all those reports here in Michigan. They're in reports. There's over 1,820 reports in Michigan. They're in every single county. And if you look at the map, and most people would look and laugh at that because they would look at some of the counties here in Lower Michigan that are mostly farmland and farming communities with sparse woods and stuff that people hunt and all this and all that, and would laugh. Even the people living here in Michigan. But in fact, there's reports pretty much everywhere that dot the landscape, and it's because Sasquatches have learned to thrive and coexist along humans in a way that they're able to thrive and survive. And it's pretty much majority at nighttime is when they move around, and then during the daytime they hunker down, and they hunker down in spots where hopefully they don't get spotted by people. And then at nighttime they move around and they get their resources and they go to their places. And I do think they go underground in some of these areas. There's karst topography and karst geological places underneath Michigan, definitely most for sure. That if they had access, there would be an underground labyrinth of aquifers and waterways and cave systems and all sorts of mysteries. Because simply because scientists simply have theories about all these complex systems and stuff, and different they have different places that they can see and look at and stuff at the surface and go down into these cave systems because of these openings at the surface. They go down. So basically, karst systems are caves and stuff, and caverns and stuff that have waterways and water that moves through them that goes into the earth. And you could have a plethora of different types of names and of geological formations and stuff like that in terms. But basically, it's underneath the earth is these waterways and aquifers and streams and stuff that gets flooded and changes, and a very vast, complex place. The new science and stuff is exploring, and so it's very new stuff, because obviously people don't go down there, so we don't know what's down there in the places that we have examples of. And for example, out west, there's a hole in the earth where people used to dive. And there's some people who had some diving accidents and drowned because of various reasons, but of basically of gases that built up, and they weren't properly trained. And this one guy went very down into this chamber. It's very unique. And I've showed different maps of it, basically. And it's he went down to the very far chamber that wasn't very mapped out. And when he was found, he wasn't found, but when they were discovered goggles and stuff by this hole that was basically a drain that they put line and stuff, a weighted line to measure how far this was, because divers want to measure if they throw down a line down a hole, a shaft, how far does it go down? And his line went down to 900 feet, and the hole is barely big enough for one person in a scuba tank to fall. So basically what happened is, when scuba diving and using air, regular air, or if you go deep dive, you have to use special gases, usually trimix and stuff. But if stuff goes wrong and stuff, you can get nitrogen nicosis, which is they call NART, and basically you start feeling super drunk, basically, and you become a very extreme bad situation, and a lot of people do things they would normally do, and thanks. It caught me off guard so much. Thanks. Yeah. Big Dragon Ball Z fan, of course, representing tonight. Going some old school stuff, and having a fun night. So, anyways, you get drunk, and this super very bad euphoric hallucinations, all sorts of weird stuff. You can look into it, of course, but basically this guy was wandering around and probably got sucked to this drain, because this 900-foot shaft that kept going down was actually a huge drainage and a siphon that would suck whatever you would get sucked into this vast cavern system that they actually now know that went over 1,000 miles to Mexico, that is linked underwater with water. And they had a tsunami effect caused by an earthquake that traveled all the way, and somehow there was a tsunami through this. You can look it up. Tsunami through this cave system, and came back out through the shaft because the scientists and park rangers stuff shut it down after these people died. And the reason why scientists are there, because there's a special puffish there that is only found there. It's like this devil's hole out in Nevada with the special puffer fish or whatever. So you can look that up and look up those stories of those tragic divers. And so anyways, there's a representation of this hole basically in the middle of the desert with water that's linked all the way to Mexico that has thousands and who knows what kind of offshoots, caverns, and systems and networks of waterways and stuff. So that's karst, basically, in all these caverns and stuff that might be waterless or that might have different levels of water changing because of different pressures and stuff, of course. So it's a complex maze of changing stuff, and could be prehistoric life forms down there because of how old some of those would be, and of course, if a life form evolved to live in there, and maybe an aquatic life form, let's say an aquatic cryptid, live to go in there and surface up and at some of these holes and some of these swamps and some of these places that are known to drain into the earth and pop out, then who knows what's down there, because scientists truly don't know. So, but Bigfoot might have access to some of this stuff and go down there for shelter and different stuff. Over the last 10,000 years, as here in Michigan, we have in other states you can look definitely has more cave systems. Definitely Ohio has a lot of cave systems, and Kentucky has a lot of. Tennessee through Appalachia has way more than Michigan. And you can look at some of these karst maps and these different cave system maps, and then look at missing people maps. But so there is actually a lot of underneath the surface and stuff of cave systems, and you can look up spelunkers and stuff, people that go into this insane world. And so that is one theory and stuff, of course. But I don't really think they really need to. Basically, most of the time they survive outside, but I do think they definitely. There is reports, and there is some old reports of them somehow appearing in one place and going underneath water, it seems like, and disappearing. Never to be seen at the surface and stuff, and then popping up and turning up into another place very, very fast. So there's a lot of reports here in Michigan, and there's a lot of reports in a lot of states, and I think there's a lot of reports that are not being found, not being made, not being taken seriously. But that's the name of the game. I think some of the newer stuff, a lot of people want to fantasize and make up stuff, and throw reports at people who read reports on YouTube and stuff, get emails and read reports and stuff like that. Anyone can make up a report, but some of this, mostly the older stuff, especially, and stuff that was in newspapers, and there's a lot of historical sightings that were reported in newspapers all across the country in the 1950s and stuff. In the 1960s, that's where I would look during that time period in your state if you guys were interested. During those 2 decades, look for evidence and stuff, and during the 40s and stuff and 30s, get wildman reports, and I think you might come across some interesting stuff because there's a lot of that here in Michigan that seems to I've never seen stuff, and there's definitely clippings and photos of it that I've seen, and some verification. And there's other stories I've been told of retired sheriffs and sheriff deputies of Sasquatches killing people, and people going missing, and of whether you believe it or not. I mean, I don't know. It's a pretty reputable person, and he heard it from the person, reputable person. I mean, not all these stories are fake, is what I'm trying to say. So, but you put the work in, you put the effort in, and try to go out there and get the evidence and get it on camera. Well, then there you go. You got even better evidence, and that's what we try to do. We try to get audio evidence, video evidence, and whatever happens, we try to show it. So, whether it's winter, spring, or summer, fall. Go out there and do our best. And we did get some great knocks, and so I wish we would have known. Of course, looked at the recording because there was you're talking about 7 hours of recording time to check that during the whole day while we're trying to go out there and get evidence and find this specific time frame where all these knocks were happening to know that we should look in this spot over here instead of all these other spots around it. It would have been awesome. We could have found tracks, but the area and stuff was definitely amazing, plentiful, a lot of deer signs moving through there, and a lot of healthy ecosystems. And what can I say? It's Northern Michigan, new place that we went to, and or what we think and where we go and where we think we need to go to find them is definitely seems to be panning out. So hopefully next time we get better stuff than just wood knocks or more stuff, But yeah, Val is awesome. There, that is right, Tommy. Those for the group he is in is the Gumshoe Guys Corner, Michigan Bigfoot Reports and Sightings. Look him up on Facebook, and you would be privy to some of this information and some of the stuff he has and stuff. So make sure you be staying your behavior, no profanity and trolling, and you will stay in the group. And honestly, Val has done a lot of good work, and great guy. And if you guys have not seen the last video that we put out on the channel, the Lost Cryptid Expedition, Allegan County, Part 2, there's some great evidence in there. If you watch it all the way through, there's witness sightings, and there's stuff at nighttime that happens towards the end of the video of stuff that happens, stuff that gets thrown to responses I do in Native American. Little rocks gets thrown at my foot, and while we're calling out to them and saying, calling out to them and trying to say, hey, hello, how are you? And they throw a huge rock in the creek and stuff, and at the same time there's a person agitating them, I think, playing loud music. It was certainly agitating to me and the people who were out, because that loud music was destroying any audio that we were trying to capture evidence. Certainly the audio recorder that was at base camp was flooded with music. And so, they threw a big rock in the creek, and it was picked up. And it was a pretty big splash. So it must have been a pretty heavy rock. I mean, it's something that could take you out instantly. I mean, you're talking, a rock at least 5 pounds. I mean, you're talking 50 pounds at least, or more. Chucked into the stream with perfect accuracy. From who knows where, but it had a force of it that it was heavy, and they could have thrown that at me and Josh when we were in this area down in these creek bottoms and stuff in the swamps. You can't move down in there too fast, and the ridges, we're in this gully, so it's still like this, 50 foot of embankment like this, shoots down in the stream, and it's all swamp and water and stuff. So we were kind of at the edge of it and stuff. We start calling to them and acknowledging them, and started getting some grunts and a bit huge hiss, and it freaks Josh out, certainly, because it was over on his side. And we do call out to these creatures, and they do acknowledge and stuff, and although they attempted to scare and stuff, certainly I don't feel was aggressive. They threw a little rock at me when I told them some stuff in native, and uh, and at camp they were messing with people, potentially threw something at a truck because of this loud music. And fortunately, none of that was caught because of the loud music. But um, it's not a game. I mean, that's what I've learned in the last half of the last years. It's not really a game, and with people and stuff, I don't think they take this seriously. I think that they take other things seriously, like trying to be famous and money, certainly trying to make money off this. Like, it's some hot commodity. It's just, I mean, it's just freaking looking for Bigfoot, right? And when you're out there and you're out there in the dark and you can't see, and you're actually in a hot spot you're actually with Bigfoot, and they're actually around you and surrounding you. Okay, you think about a huge rock that gets thrown in this stream. In all honesty, you're dealing with something that could truly just take you out. I mean, it's not no joke. I mean, the thing's going in circles around you. And what? It's carrying a huge rock, or it's has the ability to throw a huge, massive rock at you, the back of your head, if it wanted to, at any time, because you do one little dumb mistake, or it doesn't like people because it's been shot at, or whatever kind of circumstance. Maybe that researcher and stuff is super drunk out there and causing commotion, and it's not. This is something you should take kind of seriously, because the reality is, they are in charge out there, and it's like, if it's like a chessboard, they're definitely the masters, and we are not. And they move around very close to us. And those videos and stuff, of course, we're shooting at nighttime, and we don't have lights on. We don't try to have the lights on. And they're getting very close. And you can hear some of the evidence we got. I mean, they're right there. They're within. I mean, they're so close that, if they ran and charged us, I mean, we're not getting away. We're going to get away like 10 feet. If you look at the range that a bear can sprint at you and how fast, and then you equate it to a Bigfoot, would be at least the same, probably faster. Then you kind of realize that how close these things are able to get to you, and if they are this close, well, you're within kill distance. Okay, if you take in other predator and other animal, a lion and stuff, you're within kill distance. A bear, and people are out here, having fun, which it is fun, but in certain circumstances, and the reality is, you're walking in their backyard, you're walking in their homes, potentially walking in their living rooms. If you get in between their kids, like most every other animal on Earth, including humans, you don't mess with their kids, certainly. So there's certainly circumstances that can arise where, people have witnessed all sorts of aggressive things. So the link's in chat if anyone wants to come on. Don't be shy. You don't have to show your face and stuff. It's a pretty chill night. I'm just gonna keep talking and blabbering away because I take this seriously. This is what I do. I mean, I just honest about it. I do my truth, my honest expression of it, and I really don't give a crap what people think or what people do, or how many people might try to F me over, and how many people want to do whatever. Steal from me, lie, cheat, go behind my back, try to talk to other people to sway their opinion of myself. I mean, I really don't care. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to show what I get, show what my partners get, Anyone who wants to come out with us, who we like and we trust, we'll come out. No problem, It's just the fact of the matter is, there's people who, they're not about that. They're about, being a con artist, making money, and unfortunately, they're not out there in the woods. They're not really trying. Yeah. It's all you can do. Honestly, and our work's paying off, and the stuff that we're doing and we're thinking and strategizing, it is working out. So, over a dozen knocks was caught, in one night at an area that we speculated would have activity, could have activity. We were hoping, because in winter you never know, and it panned off perfectly. So there's a madness to this, the method of the Lost Cryptids Conservatory, and it's definitely going to pan out. And you guys can see some of us in action and on Vimeo. The Searching for Sasquatch Chapter 4. It only costs you about $3 and something cents to actually buy it and download it yourself, or $2 and something cents to load it. That's featuring a documentary filmmaker, Jason Kenzie, who came to Michigan on Lost Cryptids expedition to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So shot some stuff, filmed some stuff, and me and him shared a very incredible, very close encounter. That we actually had some visuals, and from what you can see on the film, you can see some eye shine at different spots, and um, from that experience, it just the Lost Crypt is, in my thought process has grown extensively, and it's not focused on monetary gains and doing big conferences and stealing this, trying to steal conferences and stuff and ideas and stuff from people, and worry about stuff like that, because that's not out in the woods. That's not what's out there. Simply put. So, um, the experiences I've had, tell me a lot, and show me a lot and point me a lot, and have formulated new ideas and stuff that have so far. I think it's going to be a fantastic year for evidence from us and from other people, and we're sharing evidence from people, and hopefully they can do more stuff to potentially show more clarity to the evidence. And but in all honesty, the stuff that you can see from Jason Kenzie on Vimeo, again, Searching for Sasquatch Chapter 4 and Chapter 3, actually, because we're featured in both of them, actually, and all the great, wonderful people who were on that trip. It was a very long encounter. It was over 15 minutes, and we had seen them, and they had let themselves be seen. While others were pretty much surrounding us or set up side by side to, at any point you're surrounded by, we've seen two, there at least was one more. That's a minimum of three, but we think there was probably four because we heard on both sides while there was two. So, these things could, pick you up and take you away, and they can do whatever they want. You're thinking a highly intelligent animal or people, caveman type of intelligence. What's the scale? We don't really know. I feel it's very intelligent though, because of the interaction we got. So we discovered a tree breaks on the trail that weren't there when we walked before. So we coming back, we discovered it, we're looking at it, we walk. All of a sudden there was a little burst of commotion, a little brush on the ground, something that got our attention really, really fast because it was pretty pronounced. And I grabbed my rifle and I aimed it towards the ground, but in the direction, because I want to have confirmation of whatever I was going to aim at. Very, very quickly, instinctively, I knew that it wasn't anything, and it was potentially Sasquatch stuff. And I put my gun back in my shoulder, and all of a sudden, moments after that, the individual pops out behind a tree. Jason Kenzie sees it first. He's trying to film it.
We have these small, dinky little headlamps because my pretty cool one, my red one, died, and so died right before this happened, a couple of minutes before. But so he's trying to film. Unfortunately, he's not able to really film those because they're too far. But I see it, and then another one pops out behind it, on top of it, standing up, and we're looking at it. We're pointing at it. Obviously they know they did it on purpose. We're hearing stuff creep on the right side. I am definitely hearing it, and then Jason thinks he potentially hears stuff on the other side. And we watched them at the tree for a while. Eventually we work our way and walk right to them, right to where they were because they had moved and stuff. We walked right to them, and we had started to sing a little bit, and I was calling out and saying Sabe, speaking native, and I was saying, like Sabe and stuff, as a gentle uh, reference, a non-aggressive thing, a type of melody, a singing, a type of tone that, I want to make sure that they know that we're friendly and stuff. I have this gun on us, they're doing all the stuff they announced us that, they're showing themselves to us. Here we have the collared kid, James himself. I wanted to make sure that they definitely knew I was not going to be a threat. This is an intense situation, guys. I mean, this is not normal for Sasquatches to typically, announce themselves, take the chance. I'm having my gun pointed at them. They scatter all around, multiple ones. I put my gun away. A couple moments later, the one shows up, and then eventually the second one. And we obviously have some around us. We work our way there, we turn around, and some awesome, some interesting stuff. Einstein potentially caught on camera. You guys can see it yourself. Um, and Jason turns around and sees something. Spider crawl across the ground. So freaks him out. So basically all the shows was that they can get extremely close to us. We never heard them really. And he spider crawled away. It wasn't like he bulldozed through the whole area, even though the terrain and features should have made more sound. What's up, caller kid?
Hello, sorry I'm a little bit late.
No, man, don't worry about it. It's all good. I want to finish up with what I was getting at, guys. My synopsis of the proximity that they were in with me and Jason, and how they were not able to make noise or alert us to their presence, even though there's evidence of eyeshine right there that they were close enough that you would think that we would be able to notice or hear. You're talking like 20 feet potentially, or closer, maybe 50. I would say no closer than 15 feet. I would say 20 feet, maybe to 30 feet. It's hard to say, but other than it's pretty dang close enough that, again, if they wanted to get us or bum rush us, there's nothing we can do. And so if you're going to put yourself in situations like that, you should prepared yourself and have a game plan and understanding of how you're going to react and build yourself up to, because when you're in that situation, and you can see it on Jason more than me, panic and stuff, and a little bit more edginess and on edge and stuff. And with me, I brush up against a branch, and it scares Jason. He's kind of freaking out, and kind of put my hands up and try to calm the situation a bit, because there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff that showed intelligence to me, a lot of stuff that showed intention, a lot of stuff that showed the potential for stuff to go wrong, but the rationale and the choice of that they didn't do nothing. They allowed themselves to be seen. And when the other one was seen spider crawling, and they didn't react. They didn't really, freak out, or they didn't do anything. They didn't. And I did ask them. To let us see them. After we had seen them at the tree, I had asked them again for us to see them again and stuff. And Jason had seen them, and I did thank them. And we decided to go back to camp to bring this group of Sasquatch back to camp to the collar kid and back to all this equipment and people. And they were sighted on thermal. Did not record, of course, but they really didn't do anything fantastical like that encounter. That again, but it was intense. So take it seriously, people. So collar kid, what do you got to talk about? Anything good? Anything in your mind? Did you?
You're gonna say something?
I'm calling you out, collar kid. What do you got to say? Pretty much done.
Well, I joined late, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Basically, when you're out there in the woods after dark, you should take this seriously. And I think people are, there's a few types of people in this community. People who are frauds and money scheming, and people who are really out there trying to get evidence, and people who act like they get evidence, and hoaxers and all sorts of stuff. But no, I was talking about this last segment was it is kind of dangerous if they're that close to you on all sides of you. They can do whatever they want to you, run at you, pick you up, grab you one hand, if they're this big and they're this powerful, they can do whatever they want to you. And you have to understand that it's not really a game. It's not really. I mean, James, there's some areas where you don't want to go in after dark, certainly, right? I mean, why not?
Yeah.
What are you afraid of, right?
Everything.
There's potential, and there's the rationale that you should have that, maybe these things are dangerous. Maybe if I chased after a grizzly bear after dark, it might be dangerous. I don't know. A black bear might be dangerous. You go after a wild hog after dark. I mean, you're going after a Sasquatch after dark. It might be dangerous. I don't know. Majority of the time, nothing happens to people, right? Well, you wanna be the lottery winner and have something that really, really happens to you. Take it seriously, and have a game plan to hey, if this thing's being aggressive to you, what are you going to do? You got to do something to make it mad? Really mad? So,
Did you have anyone join while I was not here?
No one's joined and stuff.
Because I looked at the chat.
There's the people could have joined. Anyone could have joined me. Some awesome people in chat earlier and stuff.
Yeah, because I was reading the chat when I wasn't here, just seeing what was going on.
We're doing kind of a late show, of course, starting at 11, but everyone on the West Coast can certainly tune in. A lot more, not as late as the East Coast. No, I've just been talking Sasquatch. Wow. We're just chilling tonight.
Ooh.
Someone asked about, Monroe County.
Someone said they have a snow trackway in Harrison, Michigan, which is actually really close to me and Tyler.
All right, well, put your.
But that was like a while ago, so I'm not sure.
Well, if that person is still in chat, call the kid. Why don't you put your email or whatever in, or I can put mine in and get us the details. And we would ask to get pictures. Get yourself some pictures. Take some pictures of each and every track and the track line, what it looks like to where it's going, and try to get the details and stuff.
I just lied. Harrison, Michigan is 2 hours from me, but Harrison Township is 30 minutes from me.
Okay. Well, This is what I'm going to do. If that person still watches or comes across this, watches later, we're going to.
It is like it's towards where we usually go, I should say. So
Yeah. Yeah, this is. Yeah.
so it's on the way.
Yeah, no, I
so
know
we
where it's
can
at. I
always
know
stop
exactly where
by.
it's at. You know, Michigan has stuff all over. There's so if you are out there though, if you're on the scene, pull out your cell phone, get pictures, look at him, see if you can see any toes. Don't just take one picture of one track. Get one
Well, they said it was
picture
a
or two
short
pictures
video
per
clip.
track, and get pictures of multiple tracks, and then look at the track line, get a shot of how it is and how far the tracks are in between. You know, we're trying to determine if it's a small game animal or deer or something jumping and stuff in line, or if it's a Sasquatch. You know, so obviously if you can see toes and it's a foot and stuff like that, get multiple pictures of multiple tracks, as many as you can, the track line, you know, get all of that, you know, not one track. You know, if you have evidence and you show me one picture of just one track, I mean, when you have a trackway, especially when in snow there should be a trackway. You know, that's not good enough evidence because it could be anything. I mean, you could show me and how do I want to see more. You got to show me more tracks and the track line because it determines the whole situation and what we can get out of the details from that. It's very, very important. And if you're during the like summer and non-winter season, finding one track, it does happen, and finding other tracks sometimes it doesn't happen because of how they move and they operate and they jump and they do different things. But in winter, they should leave a trackway. And if people are getting stuff that is legit and it wants to be taken more seriously, you have to get multiple pictures of different tracks and the track line. That's just how it is. So otherwise it's just not going to be good enough. It might look cool, it might look, holy crap, what is that? But it's just a one-off. You have to have more evidence to show, so it helps back it up and show more. So anyways, this email, you guys can send whatever pictures or reports, or if you want to contact me, get a hold of us. There's that. Caller Kid, you can put yours in there in the chat too if you want. People can contact him and definitely take a listen. We take it seriously, and that's all we can do. Is we're just honestly expressing ourselves and trying to do what we can out there. Whether it's perfect or not, we're gonna just try our best to do it and try our way. And hey, it seems to be working. I think getting results, and this next year we're gonna get some pretty dang good results and be about it. So not too worried about flashy stuff and doing all crap that's not stuff that's not in the woods. So anyways, yeah, James, anything you want to talk about? Any
Well, someone was talking about paranormal stuff, but it was more related to Bigfoot, so I don't really have anything on that. Well, I mean, I don't know if I can relate it to Bigfoot.
Right. Well, there's odd stuff out there, like I said earlier, of the different cryptids I encountered. We don't know really what's all out there, okay? But when the Lost Cryptids Conservatory is out in the woods of Michigan or wherever we get invited to or find ourselves, certainly will try our best to get evidence of whatever we experience out there. So if it's Bigfoot, Dogman, Stickman, orbs, a UFO, ghosts, like Collar Kid kind of dives into paranormal stuff. Hey, it's happening out there, okay? We're just trying to spread the awareness of what's actually happens in these woods because it is a little bit more fantastical than what the average people think of the reality out there is. I can attest to my personal experiences that it's more fantastical than what is averagely thought. You know, there's something going on. It's abnormal. It's, you know. So there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people experience all crazy sort of stuff. I have ghost encounters, actually. I've experienced ghostly and stuff. My girlfriend, she has experienced some pretty weird, abnormal, ghosty stuff.
When you gonna have her on?
Buttering her up and stuff. I'm trying. She'll, give her hopefully this year. I would say. I'm not gonna rush her or anything. She doesn't.
I mean, you don't have to have her on camera.
Oh, trust me. She knows all this stuff. And anyways, there's some odd stuff out there. There is some certainly ghostly stuff that does happen to people that, by all counts and measures, that I can't just, not really believe and not really assume that they're not that they are telling the truth. It's pretty crazy stuff. And actually some evidence. She actually has evidence of some stuff that she's taken pictures of over the years. So, sometimes it's whip your phone out and start taking pictures. So here's a question from Raven's Outpost. I'm just curious about how you guys feel about the reports of paranormal activity related to Bigfoot sightings. Well, again, if it's happening and stuff, hopefully we get evidence to show it. If it happens to us, we'll try to show it. There's been some odd stuff. I mean, I wouldn't relate it to Bigfoot necessarily. I mean, there was some odd stuff that has happened in Bigfoot areas and hotspots where we did get Bigfoot activity, where we did see orbs.
We don't have enough to go on to say it's related to Bigfoot, basically.
No, I mean, it's
or not.
If we see a Bigfoot transform into an orb and fly away, whether or not we capture it on a film or not, I will collapse. I would be saying that, hey, I guess this is happening now because seeing is believing. I didn't think much of Dogman or these wolves that could stand up and run like humans until I seen a wolf run across the road and then stand up and run like a human, and across the field and into the woods. So seeing is believing, and definitely changed the course of my reality and my process of thinking and what's actually out there in these woods. Not too far from many people's backyards and homes and everyday American life, man. Like no one, I guaranteed if I went to 1,000 people's houses around that area, they would never, ever expect that, laugh at you. They would laugh at the Dogman stuff. They would dismiss the Bigfoot stuff, of course, too. So, I mean, the reality of it is people are oblivious to these things, and it gives these cryptids an extra edge to remain hidden. So, just a matter of fact. So, we gotta be careful when we're out there. Who knows what we encountered? If I encountered that wolf creature in the woods, I have encountered different canines. I've, was hunting and could have took a shot at a
coyote and stuff, but I didn't. And um, if you came across this stuff, I wouldn't definitely shoot it or do anything. If it tried to attack you, obviously that's different, but could be an intelligence to this creature because it did run across the road in front of our car, pretty sure on purpose. It could have looked down the road where it was at and stuff where it crossed. It could have looked down the road and definitely seen us coming down the road. When it ran in front of the car, it really, if you see a wolf running, they run and they're doing this head motion, the head bobbing, Anyone with a German Shepherd, when they really put the power to the pedal to the metal, they put the power into it. They do this head movement. That's what it did. And it looked at us, because the eyes were reflecting off of our headlights. This was about sunset, and we had the brights on because of deer. This was October, the first week of October. It turned its head because my girlfriend will even tell you. She's like, it looked right at us. It looked like it looked through us and stuff. So we could see it. And then it went in the field, and then it went up and ran. So shows intelligence. It definitely showed. From my perspective, it didn't need to, and from her perspective, she said it looked like a person on a bike went across because it was standing up at first. She thought she saw a person with a bike because all of a sudden she thought there was a person standing there, and then all of a sudden there's this thing at wolf level going horizontal like a bike, she thought, because of the reflectors. All of a sudden she realizes, and I of course seen the whole thing as a wolf when I spotted it. Seen it, and very, 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 very amazing thing. It blew me away. What can I say? I mean, it changed my perspective, and now these dogman things, or these upright walking canines, are a reality. So, and to my girlfriend too. So, but she will go camping with me. She says it. So, does not deter her yet. But when she comes on here and talks about her ghosts and stuff, she will definitely go into that story and be the second witness to that sighting.
We do have a question. How close have you found Bigfoot activity around residential areas?
Very close. What are you talking about? Residential areas, like suburban areas or country areas where there's country?
I think he's just talking about like.
But there's,
I think he's just talking about within like houses, I guess you could say.
Now, when you're in the country,
people.
Yeah, I'll go into all of it actually. When you're on a country and you're a dirt road, or there's houses spread out, maybe they're half a mile or a mile more. I mean, Bigfoot and Sasquatch traversing those landscapes around these houses, and sometimes they're window peeking because those houses out in the middle of the countryside, they're not having that much pressure around them to hide other than from that house. So once those people are snuggled in watching TV and quiet, they're able to sneak around this area. Okay, so then they get closer to more suburbanized areas, cities and stuff. So now they're pushing from the countryside up to these areas and all around the city, as long as it's country, even farm fields and stuff. At nighttime, they will traverse, go in, go after garbage, go in and look and investigate and steal people's dog food and do whatever they want to do. But during the daytime, when everyone's hustling and bustling, they have to get to spots where the vast majority of people that live in those suburban areas and cities don't go into those particular woods and spots where the Sasquatches are hunkered down during the daytime. So these could be very close to residential areas and on the outskirts of cities, on the countryside where land and woods are not utilized. You got to think, if you look at the countryside and you look at some chunk of woods and stuff, how many days a year, 365 days a year, how many days a year
is there actually people in there and stuff, and enough pressure to the Sasquatches can't be in there, can't be hunkered down. So you have hunting season and stuff, which is 2 weeks of gun season, which a vast majority of Michiganders hunt on. Archery season starts, and again, the first 2 weeks is usually the heaviest, but archery season actually lasts for a couple months, so you can actually bow hunt for a couple months if you want to. But the majority of the pressure that humans go into it is the first 2 weeks. Then after the first 2 weeks of bow, the first 2 weeks of gun, there's another few weeks of gun and stuff, but they're not as pressure. There's not as, there's not the trophy, there's the antlerless hunt and stuff, and there's muzzleloader and stuff. There's some people who do hunt like that, but there's not a vast majority of people other than those 2 particular weeks during hunting season. You have small game hunting that can go on for months and months and months, and people go out small game all the time. I mean, I love doing that. I've actually heard wood knocks and stuff when I was small game hunting. So yeah. You got anything you want to jump in and stuff and say? Caller kid?
Uh,
Or if there's any more questions stuff, there's a link in the chat. Anyone could join if you guys want to. Don't have to show your face like Caller Kid.
I just didn't feel like getting my face cam out.
Or if you want to be brave like me, show your face, represent something cool that you like, from childhood. Could be anything, could be cool.
We're in Michigan.
But yeah, they're in these areas that don't have these pressures, and at nighttime they certainly go on their fringes and potentially look at people's houses, and it's just that's how it is here in Michigan. Whether you believe it or not, whether you think there's no evidence of it or not. I mean, the 1,820 reports that we have from the map that I have been working on for years, showing many different reports and different stuff. The fact of the matter is that there's Sasquatch in every single county of Michigan, and they are certainly in the countryside, and they are roaming and around the whole state of Michigan. They are in lower Michigan, they're in southeast Michigan, they're in southwest Michigan, they're in mid Michigan, northern Michigan, and all through the UP.
Just not Detroit. Except for maybe like one spot.
Again,
like Belle Isle.
Detroit has historically been a hot spot for Bigfoot through the colonial times all the way up to.
I mean, like today's time is what I'm talking about, but yeah.
Well, there was reports of them being in some pretty rundown places in Detroit, but Lake St. Clair has a lot of historical reports, and over Canada, right across the lake of Lake St. Clair in Detroit, is countryside and farmland that does actually have reports. So take that what you will, but that is close enough that a Sasquatch could, if he wanted to, he could swim over, because there's historical sighting where the Sasquatches were chased from Detroit onto Belle Isle, off Belle Isle, and they swam across the lake to Canada, and the people couldn't find them and stuff. They swam through the swamp and stuff, but the Sasquatches swam across Lake St. Clair to Canada. So, why couldn't they do that at nighttime coming from Canada back if they wanted to? Who knows? Why not? And they're certainly utilizing the Great Lakes, trying to get on into the Great Lakes to fish and stuff like they historically always have. They're in the waterways. Michigan, our DNR, Department of Natural Resources, is what we call them here, takes a lot of effort into stocking many waters and lakes and river systems throughout Michigan with fish, with plethora of different species. We maintain and manage millions and millions of acres, and in fact have more land coverage of trees and forests now than we have in the last 100 years, actually. So we are like 53% forested, and we have, again, more forest now than we did in like 1903. So by far, it's through conservation efforts that were taken 100 years ago, because we seen the destruction of habitats and what we were doing, and Michigan was very early in the states to put in efforts to manage its land and our ecosystem in the Great Lakes. So we take very special care and pride in that, as the DNR should. And these Sasquatches are in those habitats, and they definitely know. They definitely know that they're there. It'd be, what's the probability that they wouldn't? Okay, what's the probability that they don't have their own sightings and reports and stuff like that, encounters? Like, you're talking about the government people who manage this land and who study wildlife and biologies, and they go out there, they never encounter Bigfoot and stuff. I mean, it happens, and they know about it. I mean, they have to. It's their job to literally know everything and managing whole ecosystems. You're building whole ecosystems, and when you look in there and they change, you can look at your county plans. Look at your county plans for wildlife areas and stuff, and you can see their plans and how they manage and what their plans are for the next decade and stuff, and they might have to change around and build a dam or unplug a creek or add something or do whatever, so you think those people don't know that there's a undiscovered species out there? They definitely know. They definitely encounter and definitely have data about these things. There's just no doubt about it. So, but Michigan's, the DNR definitely has taken care of the land. We have a growth and plethora of woods and animals. We have over 1 million, and we have 1.7 million deer, white-tailed deer here in Michigan alone. So, huge population of deer. Massive population in our state, along with many other animals and plant life. So yeah, people are people. They can disagree, and will disagree, and we can agree to disagree. So, but I'm excited. So I'm excited. So,
What you up to?
what I've been up
Looks
to?
Looks like you're looking at stuff right now.
Yeah, other stuff. Just looking at messages and stuff. But
Oh,
no, it's been a pretty fun day actually. Pretty nice day. We had some nachos and stuff. Been a huge old pot of nacho meat, and just added everything onto the plates, and kids and some family. We all just pigged out, man. It was amazing. So I'm kind of feeling the effects of it, and I'm kind of getting tired because my stomach is bursting out of my pants, man. But it was great. It was really good, man. I really do. I love to cook, and I really love making some nachos and queso dip cheese. Homemade queso dip cheese with actually sour cream, and it's some good stuff. So, and not really hard to make, actually. Other than that, working on videos and stuff, guys. As you can see, we dropped. I don't know if you've seen it, James, but the Alligator Part 2.
I did.
You did. What did you think of it? What did you think of?
No, I didn't watch it. I just saw you dropped it.
That's okay. But we're gonna be showing some of the evidence from that. We'll be throwing it out here in the next week and stuff. Throughout the week, clips from that. But if you guys watch it, you can see witnesses giving their encounters and how the stuff happened in real time and how we reacted and stuff. And it was pretty intense. So it's a little something I put together. Of course, I'm not a professional filmmaker, documentary maker, or anything like that. But what I do is I go out there and try to get evidence and experience stuff, and seem to be hitting good marks when we go out there, wherever we go. So, but if you watch that, you can see the type of stuff that we hopefully are going to get in more. These encounters. When they're close, and we're actually getting.
Oh, you might want to ban that. Yeah, good idea. That's what the fuck? Yeah. I've never seen that before. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's probably one of these trolls and stuff, and paid for trolls by the.
No, I think it was just a bot, but
yeah,
or just someone that wants to
there is, point blank, there is in fact direct trolls and correlation of trolls and censorship of the Bigfoot community and Bigfoot people and evidence. And there's people, certainly government officials and people who are in the Bigfoot community who are just like that. So, and they're not real deal stuff. They don't care about evidence. They don't care about none of that. It's not about that. It's, yeah, that was weird, man. Our first troll that we actually had to ban, our first block.
I thought it was like
on actual live show. Yep, took it out real fast. Nope.
I thought
we're not gonna mess around. I'll tolerate some stuff, but like nothing like that. And but if you make me really grumpy and stuff, you'll be gone and stuff. But for the most part, I'm pretty laid back, and I would be open for most discussion. And other than from the people who I already don't like, if they ever showed up on here and stuff, they wouldn't last long. Certainly would not be on these live mics, open mics. Not unless you guys really wanted to hear some crap. So, and I would be interesting to hear what crap it would be because it would be interesting to hear the side of make believe, I guess. I don't know. The fuck.
I was about to say.
All I can say is I have stuff that we have stuff that we actually present and show you guys, while others entertainment. So trying to make money off of really nothing they can show, nothing they've accomplished and done. So
I was about to say before that happened, if you wanted to start talking about conspiracy theories.
Oh, any particular ones? Let me grab a drink real quick.
Oh, okay.
I'm right here actually, but got any ones you particularly want to talk about?
I'm blanking. I had some, but I'm blanking.
Oh man. Well,
do you know of any?
Depends on how hot and heavy I guess you want to go.
Because I was on Facebook the other day and I saw you post some stuff, and then I look at your account and you have more stuff. I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, because Facebook put me in. It didn't put me in jail, but they said that my posts were going to be limited for people to be seen.
Yeah, I see them every once in a while.
For the next couple month or two. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna post more. Yeah, honestly, it's not conspiracy theory. It's just, you're looking at information that is out there. You're looking at what people say and what people have shown you and what people have told you, and you're just adding it up and critically thinking about it. And it shows that, this This world is, run by elites and some pretty crazy people who tell you things and show you things, and go to these odd art ceremonies of painting in blood and drinking, eating a decorated corpse on a table as art. Will pretty much show you and tell you, there's a lot of crazy, fantastical things out there. And the reality is, I don't shy away from posting what I think on my own personal page. I post a lot of crazy out there conspiracy things, as one would say, but fact of the matter is, there's evidence to usually back it up, and clips and videos to show of these own people telling you and talking about it. So let's talk about chemtrails for a second. So chemtrails.
What about them?
Everyone knows about what chemtrails are, right?
Well, I know about them. But what we dive?
Well, okay. So you look at the chemtrails, early 2000s and early before that, all the way until now. Chemtrails were conspiracy theory. Chemtrails were not real. Chemtrails were our jet steams, our vapor trails, our anything other than this chemical mixture that the government is spraying across the sky for a number of things that, the public really doesn't know about. Controlling weather is one, because there's documented cases of cloud seeding through Vietnam. You could look it up, but cloud seeding, we know that we can add stuff to the clouds and make rain. And the U.S. has treaties about weather modification in warfare. So you can look that up, weather modification treaties in warfare. Basically, conspiracy is, and video clip that I would direct people to would be a former CIA director talking about the chemtrails and the chemicals that were in it and what they did, which was altering and weather modification, and that gets into being able to control the weather, add thunderstorms, cause and steer earth hurricanes and twisters potentially, and cause droughts in some places, and man-made climate change if you really wanted to. But obviously developed for warfare purposes. But this conspiracy thing is that it's not real. It doesn't happen. But you go look up the skies, and people will tell you, it didn't look like that when, in the 70s and the 80s and early 90s and stuff, man. So.
Got a question in chat.
Oh, okay. So this is Cryptid C. She is a channel that people need to subscribe to. She has a variety of different stuff, Dogman videos. She's pretty awesome. Something, it's probably most likely some political thing, conspiracy that got me put in semi jail, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Well, it's not jail, but anyways, Cryptid C, if you wanted to come on, and it's an open mic show. No one's been brave enough to actually come on, even though we've had some people who could have came on. She actually has a show that she does, and some program. She has a YouTube channel, and she puts some pretty cool content in, and has done some Skinwalker stuff, some Dogman stuff. She has some Bigfoot stuff and some evidence that she's shown, and does a good job. I like to watch a lot of people, and I'm always on the lookout for channels and evidence and what people are doing. And so yeah.
What was the question? Sorry.
Any Illuminati conspiracies? Do I know any Illuminati conspiracies?
Do you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You look at Hollywood and stuff. This is what you could do. Go to Google and you go and say one eye or all-seeing eye celebrity pictures, and you can look at the dozens of pictures of celebrities going, "Ow, my eye hurts." And let's take a picture of that. But showing, this one eye or this particular symbolization of symbols, signs and symbols that they show people and show you. And these signs and symbols, if you want to go deep down the rabbit hole, it takes you to some pretty scary places and some pretty horrific religious realizations if you really want to get into it, honestly. But because the people, they'll show you, they'll tell you, you go watch a music video on some of these artists and stuff and what they show, and it's how it's the same people who say they don't believe in Jesus and they don't believe in the Bible. They certainly don't believe in all that mumbo jumbo, right? But yet in their music videos they have demonic stuff and devil stuff and stuff that would make you think, if you don't believe in this, then why are you showing all this? Or why is this in this? Why is a music video like this when like the lyrics and like the song is like this? The black goo and stuff representing possession and stuff. And basically, the Illuminati is, again, it's an evil organization, a satanic organization that is again trying to do the work of the devil. So it's trying to get people souls to the devil and possession and demons and all that. And if you really want to go down to it, it's pretty scary and stuff, and they could get involved into some pretty dark areas and paranormal aspect, ghosts and entities you can't see, and if you really want to get into it, you go down the rabbit hole pretty far. But again, there's a flip side to that. So there's God and there's Jesus and there's the good side and there's faith and there's actual belief in that. There's spiritual warfare. So if you read the Bible and stuff, and you take some stuff seriously, and if you look into the stuff, and then you see some of this Illuminati stuff. I mean, some of it is, it's and some of these people in these Illuminati things say that they believe in the opposite side of God, the opposite side of Jesus, and so what are you supposed to take? What are you, a critical thinker looks at all this stuff and looks at what the people are saying, looks at all this stuff, looks at the data, and what are you supposed to come up with? I don't know. Hopefully it's not true. But if 1% of it's true, then it's pretty bad. So
I got one.
Yeah. I'll be here. I'm just gonna mute myself.
This isn't a conspiracy theory, but like someone said during a party in California, pretty sure it was like what the heck's that place called? Hollywood, I think, or Los Angeles. That one of the there's like a big popular person having a party. I don't think they said the name, but there was like a famous influencers that went there, and they were asking for people's blood to get into the party, and they're saying it had to do with the Illuminati. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's something that actually happened. And
I think there's now it's kind of a popular thing, and like a lot of people so I think there'd be a lot of fake stuff and hoax stuff.
Yeah, but they were too sketched out by it, so they left.
I would be too.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if you ever heard of that one or not.
No, but some of the other stuff, a lot of the stuff is like Cryptid C is talking about is cannibalism and Satanism and stuff like that. If you look at the Rothschilds and the Rothschild conspiracies and the Rothschild party that they threw in the 1970s, some of these photographs, and look into some of these representations and stuff. It's a very complex, multi-hour, multi-show, complex things to dive into. But they show you what they represent and what have baby dolls that are basically represented as mutilated, and all sorts of weird costumes and weird decor, and a devilish red flamed house mansion, and it just all sorts of weird stuff. The letter invitation written backwards, and just the evil stuff of this world. If you really get into it, and you want to rinse yourself of getting too far into those rabbit holes with prayer and stuff, I believe too. So just be careful, because some of that stuff is paranormal and stuff. So you look at, it's hard to believe. That's even more crazier than Bigfoot and all that. But seeing is believing, and I guess experiencing some stuff from some certain stuff. Hopefully hopefully it's not happening, but there's some stuff out there that points that there's some crazy stuff, man. There's people that rule the world. There's people who are not named, never will be named, never will be known, that rule countries and nations, and there's a lot of stuff that the public just doesn't know about, will never know about, and there's so much backdoor dealing and backdoor stuff and insane stuff that, honestly, if you look at most of the cultures and all the beliefs and all the worlds and how they tell about all the spirits and stuff like that, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that we hear these conspiracy theories and these insane things, because again, the rulers of the world from ancient times all the way till now, and the Bible does reference a lot of similarities and references to these Illuminati people and stuff like that. Of course, Illuminati means illuminated, being illuminated in light. They're always talking about the Luciferian light, light of the 1,000 points or whatever the heck. And former President George Bush the First talks about that in a speech. He talks about a new world order that they're building and stuff like that. So, you can find video clips, you can find books, you can find stuff they've written, stuff they've shown, stuff that they actually have told the public, said in speeches. That is just truly mind-boggling and odd and symbolic, double talk, backspeak, so it's very hard for people to believe, because it gets very scary and very, world flipping, more than Bigfoot. You're talking about, and all that.
That's why it's a conspiracy.
World War I and World War II. That conquer the world and stuff. And America is free. America is awesome, amazing. But there's certainly underlying evil powers that certainly trying to erode and corrupt America. And they don't like free people. They don't like our freedom. They don't like that we can do all this and mostly do whatever we want within reason, as long as we don't, hurt other people and trample other people. Honestly, we can do a lot of damn good stuff that we haven't throughout human history, and be able to have, arms and protect ourselves and have our own way of life and our own way of doing things, as long as it doesn't really, really interfere with anyone else. I mean, we're pretty good, pretty free, and there's people who just hate that. There's people who just hate innocence and hate children and hate people who, that's just who they are, and that's who, what they serve. So there's, this good and bad throughout the universe and throughout humankind and throughout man. Inside each and every one of us, there's good and bad, and there's always a fight. No one's perfect. There's a constant fight to do stuff. So regardless of your religious beliefs and stuff, everyone knows that there's certainly good and bad thoughts and good and bad intentions and our own integrities that we all face. So regardless, there is a universal struggle there, and as there's a certain population of people who believe the extreme on both sides, and some of these people on the this bad side, they take it to the extreme. So if what they tell us is true, and they talk about magic and evil stuff and occult stuff and black magic, it's pretty scary. It's pretty stuff. But then again, the opposite side is the light of God and Jesus. So, and what they say is having the shield of faith. So having faith, and faith can protect you from a lot of things. So, not to get all religious and stuff, but I certainly pray to God, and I ask Him for protection when I go out in the woods for Sasquatching. If this Sasquatch is a evil entity, a demonic entity of any sort, I definitely want the protection of my Lord and Savior to be with me. So, and if it is, then it will be exposed as such, and we will present it as such. So, then it might turn into a different situation for our research and what we actually are going to do about that. But that's a whole nother world mind bending situation that is not currently happening. So here's from Cryptid C some more diving deeper down the rabbit hole. Are demons real cryptids, or are they cryptids in disguise, or manifesting and disguising themselves as such? And then of course she says selling your soul can be symbolic. I don't know how much I want to research demons, but it's literally in style. And the more ghost and paranormal people, they research that stuff and get really heavy into that and all sorts of stuff like that. But I definitely have pondered the question of, is demonic activity these manifestation of these cryptids and stuff? And the long and the short answer is you truly just don't know. Okay, so if you really wanted to ask it, I mean, as of yet, it's undetermined in my standards, because no one's, we don't have a body of Bigfoot. No one's observed Bigfoot in their natural habitats. I mean, we don't, not to go off the super woo side and stuff, but I am of open mind and of open religious thoughts. And if I have experienced ghosts and paranormal stuff before. I have woken up with something breathing over me. I have woken up. I have been paralyzed in bed, and sleep paralysis where I was awake, my eyes were open, and when I was able to sit up, my book stand, I had a stand right there, nightstand, and with some books on it, and all the books fell off of it dramatically. So I've had some odd paranormal ghost stuff happen, and I can truly say that you don't know if that is demonic or not. And that's why I don't get into that, because you don't know if it's a ghost, a demon, or what the heck you're going after. You don't know. So I can say from experience that there's certainly invisible, odd entities that are not good out there in houses. So what the heck's out in the woods? Yeah, and that's what I usually do when I have extreme ghost encounters or sleep paralysis. Is I did yell out Jesus is King, and point blank started praying for Jesus and stuff, and that was the only thing that seemed to help. And so what can I say? And I don't really talk about that much, and I really don't get into all that, but hitting it pretty heavy now. So
I found that conspiracy I was talking about earlier, and I found the video, so I'll send it to you.
Send it to me. What's it called? What's the title? So what's it about?
Oh, it's what it was that one I was talking about earlier about the celebrities going to influencers going to parties.
All right, so I got a conspiracy. and that was has to do with Johnny Depp, River Phoenix, and Winona Ryder. And this would have been back in their youth and stuff when Johnny Depp owned a big bar. I think he still owns it, a Hollywood bar. Give me a second. All right. This would have been back when early in their youth they owned a bar and stuff, and Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder were dating and stuff at the time, and River Phoenix was a good friend. And anyways, River Phoenix died at the bar, through overdose of cocaine. The conspiracy theory is that, of course, Johnny Depp was jealous of River and spiked his alcoholic drink with a crap load of cocaine, in which the ingestion of that much cocaine would be imminent, certain death, because it dissolved and such in the alcoholic drink. And of course, the famous Hollywood person was already pretty plastered at that point. But anyways, Johnny Depp supposedly gave him the drink and then headed on stage to play with his band, and while his best friend shortly died after in a ritualistic murder, which and again, some believe that Winona Ryder is into the witchcraft stuff and into
I know who
into all
Johnny
that. And you
Depp
can
is.
listen to all that. And right now, Megan Fox and was it Machine Gun Kelly or whatever the heck his name is, right? Just got married and they just exchanged their own blood, and
Oh, really?
they have a ring that is spiked, or I hear this and stuff.
I've
Spiked
not
and
heard
stuff,
this
so
yet.
when you pull it off,
Oh no, I did hear that one. Yeah. I didn't know who it was.
Some of this stuff is, if you want to say, symbols and stuff that we're not supposed to understand, but when their club members hear it, people of the club hear it, they hear it, and they have a different understanding of these words and terms and symbols and understandings and meanings and phrases that these people put out. So yeah.
I got a few more we can talk about if you want.
Sure. Yeah, well,
Where was it?
keep going for a little bit, actually, and Cryptid C is still put some good comments out there. Don't think Bigfoot is evil. Wild animals aren't evil when they eat, but they could seem that way if you weren't their dinner. Yeah, I don't think they're evil or anything. If I have a super weird paranormal and some indication they were extremely demonic and stuff, I would say something, but no, I think they're an indigenous humanoid tribe of people that probably have an intelligent level somewhere around, maybe Neanderthal or somewhere around there, potentially, of understanding, and they have their own communication and stuff. So just diving super down the rabbit hole of what people think, what some theories on Sasquatch and some of these other entities of being, that they're just demonic entities that are trying to trick and influence all of us, deceiving us and stuff like that. If you look at ghosts and stuff, you're hearing stuff, you're not sure what you hear, and then you get all these noises, and Bigfoot, and you're in the dark, and sometimes you get all these noises and stuff you don't hear and stuff like that. You don't catch it, a lot of people don't have stuff on camera, right? Stuff like that. So a lot of people like to think it's paranormal, and if it's paranormal and stuff, it opens the door to the conspiracy theories, because if it's paranormal and stuff, then why is it doing the things it's doing, like throwing rocks at people? if it can like turn into an orb, or if it can like go invisible, and so like tricking you and stuff. Why is it tricking you? So, but I digress, because I think Sasquatch is flesh and blood and stuff like that. I do think there's some odd, potentially other entities out in the woods, but we have not encountered those as much to document for you guys. So, but it can happen. There's some stuff out there, guys. You have to be careful. You have to be mindful. Watch out. You have to understand that just because you really don't believe it doesn't mean it might not happen to some other people, and it might not happen to you. And if you find yourself in a situation, I think it'd be better to have some sort of awareness that that this is possibility. And at least if you find yourself in a situation, you have a better chance of getting out of it than if you never just believe in it at all, and you don't have any thought put into it. So the world's an amazing place, and then there's a lot of missing people, and there's a lot of odd stuff. You look at Missing 411 right now. Go to Can-Am Missing 411 YouTube with Mr. David Politis, and he puts out stuff very regularly, and the missing people and stuff is very odd. I do think some of it is Sasquatch. I do think some of it is certainly not Sasquatch. And it could be some other cryptid or some other Earth anomaly. I mean, we don't know. Something is certainly going on in a majority of these cases that are pretty unexplained, even for Bigfoot standards. But so and there's data and there's references, and he's done a lot of good work. A lot of people put him down, but it's easy to put people down who don't do the work. That's why we try to do the work, show, and that's we're probably going to be put down and looked over and stuff, and not taken seriously, and just because maybe we don't put on a good performance for people, or we don't jump through hoops, or we don't put on the display for people to come and pay us for. It doesn't really matter, because we're putting in the work. It shows people actual evidence and research data. So that's what gets the job done, and the ball moving forward on everything. So people want to make fun of David Politis, not take him seriously. Well, who else has put that much effort into looking into all the cases and done and checked every single thing that he's ever done, and say anything different, and scoff it all off and disprove it all? No, not one of the skeptics that are laughing at him or trolling him. They ain't doing any of that. There's no one certainly doing all that work that he's done and trying to improve upon it and do more. There's no one doing that either. But so it's easy to put people down. It's easy to laugh at and say, oh, well, there's no evidence of that. Certainly, sometimes in some situations, but there's evidence that we could show you that, well, it's not good enough. Well, it's still evidence stuff. We have, a dozen knocks that, we could show you, but that you can hear at different intensities. It sounds like at different distances and stuff at different times. Some people are going to flat out say, it's nothing. So, but it is actual evidence, and is one day will be taken seriously, and one day will be useful, certainly. So, we got some pretty damn good stuff on both recorders that seem to indicate there was at least two different spots. Because one recorder picked up two knocks that were in quick succession, along with a louder knock that was definitely picked up from what Tyler's audio picked up, which was the main one, and then the one I had at camp picked up I lined them up in the time frame that there was either one that was responding on the other side of camp or somewhere in a different distance away from the main audio speaker that was picked up on the secondary one at camp, because we always have one at camp to see if something comes into camp at nighttime, if when we hear stuff at camp, it picks it up, stuff like that. So and that data showed they were very responsive with wood knocks, and you can tell it's pretty wood on wood. So we'll play some for you guys right now. Some of you guys probably joined in late and stuff like that. What the heck is this?
That one sounded like it was really close.
Yeah, it was a lot closer to the main recorder, and it sounds definitely like wood on wood, and so it's pretty amazing stuff. Pretty clear cut wood knocks. In the dead middle of winter, -5 degrees here in Michigan, so that's evidence right there for you guys, and it's shareable and stuff. Again, you guys can look up the email in the chat, send it there, send any questions, if you guys want to take a look at some of this audio, or maybe some bigger researchers and stuff want to try to collaborate and stuff, and go on and put it on your guys' soundboard and take a look through at some of the different softwares you guys might have. We're up for that. We're interested, we're always interested in that sort of stuff. So here's another recording of at camp when we're sleeping, and you can hear knocks in between the snoring, and so we'll take a listen to this. So yeah, you can hear different knocks and different recorders that did and that one showed 2 knocks at the beginning that were not as loud. Those were not picked up in the main recorder, so those were somewhere else, or on the other side of camp, or off center, not as loud, closer to camp, that were picked up, and then the main recorder picked up the louder one. So whatever kind of setup that was, I'm not sure, but it's interesting that one recorder picked it up and the other one didn't. So it showed potentially multiple ones, wood knocking in close proximity. Who knows why they were doing so many knocks, whether it was for us or for them, or I don't know. But and of course, the recorder at camp actually does pick up all the knocks that the main one does, but obviously the main one was almost perfect placement. That it's just so pristine. The other ones are picked up, but not as well. Obviously, you heard that loud one at the end, but that's not as loud as they sound. So, being further away, of course. But yeah, awesome job we did. I think awesome placement of our recorders in our camp, and worked out better than we expected. Yeah, and these big TV shows, okay, and these big networks and channels, they don't find crap. I mean, it's more dramatic ending and cliffhangers and over dramatic storytelling. They're not out there in the middle of the bush looking for anything really.
I mean, they have found a few things before on
Some people
on
have.
the one I'm talking about.
What's that? Go ahead.
Finding Bigfoot, they found a few things, but like
I
nothing
agree.
amazing, I guess.
No, I agree. Finding Bigfoot had some awesome ones. I believe the episode I like is I like the Michigan ones. There's 2 Michigan ones.
Yeah,
It's a pretty awesome vocalization. Okay, and there's one episode I think they're in Australia with Cliff Barackman, who he does some claps and stuff. It has some interaction with supposed Bigfoot. Very, very interesting interaction that they did catch on Animal Planet Finding Bigfoot. So, and there's some other ones, but that one and the Michigan ones I personally like because of the howl. There's 2 of them. The other one's not.
I'm not really sure about any of the new TV shows since I don't really watch them. I did watch Mountain Men, I think is what it is. I'm not sure. Man, that one's like
Mountain Monster.
Yeah, that's probably right. I don't know. I watched a few episodes of it one night. It was just a bunch of hillbillies out there with guns, basically.
Yeah, that's totally fantasized stuff, and I hear those they're really good guys and really nice. They go to some of these conferences and they're really nice and stuff, but that's all TV and choreographed for sure. They're not actually out anywhere running, and if they are running through the woods and guns like that, it's, I'm sure it's scripted and they're on places where they're allowed to do that and probably private property and permits and stuff like that, but they're trying to build cages and capture stuff. I've seen that show and some of these other shows like Expedition Bigfoot. It's the first season. Especially,
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
The first season was presented as something it was not. This algorithm picked this place that it computed that would be prime Bigfoot habitat, and it was on a dude ranch. It was on a dude ranch, so it was not anything like it was presented to be, and it was all stuff in areas known and hunted and places that they could have rode ATVs and stuff like that all too and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but portraying it as like this spot that this computer algorithm took all its data points and picked was deception and fantasy. And some of the stuff, was more, they didn't have to do that, like Russell Accord, who is a pretty badass guy, who is, I don't doubt when he is out there in the middle of the woods at nighttime, especially on his own, that he is putting the work in and doing stuff. But on TV and stuff, does he have to rope down a cliff face and stuff? Well, probably not. I mean, it's cool. I would do it. I mean, I would. Heck yeah. I'd, want to do it, shoot it on TV and pay me. I mean, yeah. I mean, that'd be kind of fun stuff too. But like, I mean, unless you're researching that you need to get into air or get down to place, do that. I mean, it's kind of for TV and stuff. It is pretty cool. And I like Russell. I think he's pretty sweet, and those people on there where are pretty upstanding researchers and stuff. But it's the TV world and it's scripted and they're getting paid, so it's what the boss tells them to and what kind of, you know. So again, it's TV land. Anyways,
This
James, what were you about to say?
this wasn't really a TV show, but did you ever see Turtle Man? He did a series of Bigfoot videos on his YouTube page. Did you ever watch any of them?
I haven't watched all of them, but
I just want to know what your thoughts on if you think it's like he's being for real or not, because it's hard to tell.
I haven't watched enough of them to determine that, I would say, but I would assume that he's a woodsman, and I mean,
I mean,
looks
just
pretty
like,
nuts.
do you
I mean,
think he's actually having like Bigfoot encounters, or do you think he's kind of like not faking it, but like, making it seem like it's bigger than it actually is?
it'd be easier to tell if I met him in person and went out in the woods with him, because that's how.
Well, it's
I
not
just
TV,
think-
so
I-
he's probably not getting a huge paycheck, but it's like YouTube, so his fans are more getting
Yeah,
a
yeah.
show than anything.
Well, I would hope that he was being truthful and take it seriously and stuff. That's the best course of action, because if you fake this and stuff, and you eventually and stuff, people will catch on, and if there's people who really should take this very seriously, and there's people who don't take it as seriously, who think they are and are claiming to be, and they're just glorified campers. Really, they're not. There's people with all sorts of ailments and disability and ages, and I implore everyone to be out in the woods and stuff, of course. But for the super diehards and tryhards and the ones who really want to take this and get the next Patterson film and get this next awesome evidence, I mean, then let's really try and go for it. Let's do it the right way and not, take it, not be like that, being something else, fake or frauds, or being in it about the money and stuff. That's just because then you're in it for the money, so you have to, so you have to have a show, you have to go somewhere, you have to shoot something, you have to have a scene, you have to kind of have a storyline and stuff, and if they get evidence, that will be awesome and stuff. But most of the time, you hear something, or what was that, or that may or may not be happening on most of those shows. So you have to realize that. And so that is fake. I mean, that's hoax. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, I mean, that's blatantly fabricating the reality of the situation. And what we do is definitely, you cannot lie about the reality of the situation, what's going on, and what we're experiencing, and we're trying to film the whole encounters that are happening. Like, I mean, these people are just like filming scenes and stuff. Like, they're not encountering everything. So like, I mean, I really don't know what to say. Honestly, it's kind of a brain scratcher of why these TV shows can't film their own encounter, which I know they have like 20 people or more around in the woods doing all this camera work and sound work and all this, but like.
Well, the thing about Turtle Man is that he actually does like hour-long videos for his Bigfoot stuff, and it does all right, So maybe he is being for real, but it's like an episode-based thing, so it's like kind of a show.
I mean,
I don't
I
know.
haven't watched enough to say honestly. I wouldn't say right now unless I honestly watched it and put the effort into looking at it and determining it. But there's a lot of people who are genuine, and there's a lot of people who are not. So
We do have a question from Cryptids C again.
all right.
It's about, do you think Bigfoot? Yep, that one.
So you think you're finding evidence of Bigfoot type creatures rather than Wolfman, Dogman? Michigan is known for the Wolfman.
Basically,
Dogman.
basically just asking, do you think we're finding
Wolfman.
Bigfoot evidence or Wolfman or Dogman evidence?
We find Bigfoot evidence majority of the time. Yeah. There's Sasquatch evidence that we find is majority of anything that we encounter. And that's why we primarily go after them, because they're more sparsely populated, or not sparsely populated. They're more heavily populated throughout Michigan. They're more easier to come across and encounter, it seems like. And we are able to document more evidence of it, so it proves that there's a higher population and stuff. And Dogman stuff, yeah, we were up in the UP, and we got some pictures of some wolf tracks, and they're pretty big, but I'm not going to say it's Dogman. You know, for Dogman evidence, we would hopefully try to film or witness, again, a wolf standing up and then running and trying to film that, or then if we seen that and then looking at the tracks, then we could say, Dogman stuff. And I have seen one of these creatures. I don't know, like I've said previously, this little stream ran across the road in all fours, went in the field, stood up and ran like a person, like this, running like a person, head up and stuff, and its body and stuff and its locomotion is now contorted into like a human. Okay, so that was here in lower Michigan, like where it's not even woodsy, it's farmland, and it's very unexpected, and changed my reality. So anyways, no, we do not come across most of that evidence, because I think a lot of it, what kind of evidence would it be? A wolf track? The wolf I seen, I don't think his track would be anything super massively unordinary than a wolf track that I have found out in the wild before. So that's not an indication that I can tell me that it's a Dogman track. If it's the size of a dinner plate or a pumpkin or something like that, I mean, maybe then I would say, holy crap, it's a Dogman, because the size of the track is, twice or like 5 times the size of a wolf track. But what I had seen proportionally was a wolf-sized creature, and if it never stood up, it would just be considered a wolf that I had seen. But so the evidence, to find evidence of Dogman, you can find hair, get DNA tested, and what would it come back as, or if you find a track, again, how do you know, size wise, if you've seen it? So Dogman evidence is very hard, because unless you see it and you're in an area where Dogman are and you're seeing them standing up and seeing them, and then you find their evidence, then you can say Dogman stuff. So there has to be some sort of standard, before you can say, yep, this is Dogman. And it's a high standard, and it's probably higher than Bigfoot standard, honestly, because you have to prove and kind of show that it's in some way, whether you witness the creature doing something that's Dogman like, because you have to prove more than a wolf track, and that it's a wolf, wolf track or wolf evidence. You have to go above and beyond than pretty much Bigfoot, I think. So
Yeah.
they film them. So we have another question here.
Yep.
We'll dive into that. We'll hit some heavy hitters. I think Carrie's 168 method is flawed, because there is too many people thoughts on that, and that is abs 33 or 0303. No, I didn't. I don't think it's flawed, because it worked. We had interaction at camp where everyone was at. We had interaction in the woods, and we got some evidence, and people had their own personal encounters and stories that they can tell you, and they've done interviews, and there's stuff that you can watch, and I have mine to share too. So it just depends on the environment and the individuals in the area, honestly, I would say. And I think it depends on the individual people. I think, they watch people, and they pick up on certain mannerisms and things, and maybe interactions in people, and how and um, I really think that they don't like certain people because we've been out in the woods where, like me and Jason, we had our encounter, then take someone else out there and it's flat out dead for like the whole night. The rest of the next night, it's literally nothing happens out there with that person. And I think if I would have took James out there, something probably would have happened. If I would have took some other people maybe out there, I think something maybe would have happened. But you take some certain people out there, maybe they don't like them. Maybe they pick up on certain stuff, like animals can, like dogs can. Who knows, whatever reason. They don't want to interact with that person. But they like James. They like James's caller kid call that he makes that, it does work. It gets animal responses too. It's not only getting evidence of Sasquatch calls and responses that he has recorded, that we have recorded, but it works on animals too. It gets actually animals calling back. So they like caller kid. So we're going to hopefully butter him up and, when we have these close interactions, I think they'll like him. They like Tyler, and we're gonna get some close interactions like we have in the video I just put out, and the videos that are going to be coming out, where they're going to be very close to us. 10 yards, 20 yards.
We got another question asking if we ever hear wolves.
Do you
And
hear
I
wolves?
have.
Yeah.
Up in the UP for sure. And I think maybe a few times over another spot in northern Michigan.
Yep.
But that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, we found wolf tracks up there and different places.
Well, I wasn't talking about there where I heard more towards Munising where I've heard stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot more wolves than I think DNR want to say. Same thing with big cats. We definitely have a lot more big cats here in Lower Michigan than the DNR will ever admit. And and they're all the way down in Lower Michigan, in Ohio and stuff. That I do know for sure, because I have heard stories, and I have been in places where big cats were sighted, and I have found tracks, and so yeah, there's a lot of there's normal stuff like that where their wildlife is keeping it censored and hidden for whatever reason, where they are trying to like build up the population of cougars, and they're like picking them up and transplanting them, and because they picked them, I heard they picked them up in this one small city in Lower Michigan, and they transported it and put it up north and stuff, and they tried to kept it hush hush, but the locals knew about it, and locals were the ones who were telling.
How'd they know about it?
Because they had sightings and stuff, and then someone was around their property where they trapped and stuff, and they were just telling the stories of it. So it definitely is happening, and there's stories of that in other states too, of this big cat, like the big cat conspiracy.
Like talking about like the what's it called?
Well, Black Panthers and stuff.
Yes,
but
yes.
This would be like cougars and stuff that the government, or at least the land management people, are like growing themselves and are doing this and transporting and allowing it to spread, or but that's not the big cat, like black cats and stuff. No, this would be animal conservation, but they're like secretly like allowing more, and there's a huge population more in these states than they're telling people because they don't want them to be scared. It was like that.
Okay.
The black cats and stuff, those are different stuff, and they're interesting too. Cheers for the response. Well, yeah, cheers to you, man. So
I do have one more conspiracy I'd like to talk about.
Yeah, what's that? What's up?
What do you think about the conspiracy of Walt Disney being frozen and, them trying to hide it through the movie Frozen?
Well, I really haven't heard that one, how it's through Frozen, but yeah, no, he is in.
Well, no, I'm
he's
trying
in
to say like
cryogenics.
they try to hide like people looking it up by making a movie called Frozen, because you literally can't find any information about it now.
No, he is frozen, and that's
That's not conspiracy. You know it's real.
Yeah, I don't think that's conspiracy. I'm pretty sure that's real. I thought that was pretty well known that he's frozen, and my dad told me that a long time ago.
Oh,
Yeah, something, he's frozen and to hopefully, be brought back and can, I think he has an illness or something.
yeah. I'm saying like, they made the movie Frozen to hide it, so no one could ever like find information on it.
No, it was, cryogenics. And
Yeah, he had a buddy that made it like 1 year before he like died, or quote unquote died.
Frozen?
No, like Yeah, he had like a buddy that did cryogenics, and before he died, like it was like 1 year before the technology came out, and that's why people.
Yeah, well, that time period, all through that, they were doing the space age and the rocket age and the UFOs. They were imagining a lot of stuff and trying to do a lot of technology, and they did freeze him, and there's some other people and specimens that are preserved for future technology use. But he I believe so. I mean, people in the chat, I mean, have you guys heard about that? Or
Do you believe he's underneath all of Walt Disney?
kept in a vault under there? I mean, who knows? Who has possession of him? I guess.
I have no idea. It's been like 100 years, right? Almost.
Coming up in a lot of years, but yeah, when you have that much money and that much power and that much land, I mean, you build whatever you want, I guess, and he did transform.
Now it's way much more money though.
He destroyed a lot of viable skunk ape habitat, let's just say, for that theme park, but yeah, the place is pretty awesome. The place around there in Florida, and there's Sasquatches pretty much in every state. There's reports of them everywhere, and there must be a heck of a huge population for all these sightings that we have here in Michigan and elsewhere. And all the researchers that are doing the research, and if it's a super rare animal and stuff like that, I mean, heck, we just went out, we got 12, like a dozen wood knocks, 11 plus a couple more, but about a dozen wood knocks. An area that, we thought was going to be active and a new spot, and hope for the best, and it worked out. If it's a super rare animal, it should be super rare and hard to find. And but when we have theories and strategies in place and thoughts and areas we strategize on, I mean, I do the work. It pays off, and we're able to replicate it, and we're gonna able to replicate these close encounters too. So it's going to keep happening. If we're going to go to different spots, then it's going to keep happening, and to show that not only are we able to replicate and get these evidence responses at different places that can be replicated, that we're going to build up relationships and hopefully get these bad boys on camera. So and with everyone's help and support, with everyone watching the content and help supporting us, that way it really helps and stuff. It really helps us, keep us motivated and with our goals and stuff. So because that's what we do when we show the content to you guys, and so it's hopefully this year's gonna be better than ever, and so we're gonna do some more stuff. We're gonna put some stuff on Patreon and stuff. Of course, we're gonna have some stuff that you're gonna have to pay to see and stuff, but it's nothing that's not worth it, of course. And put some stuff on there because taking time away from my kids and stuff and doing the work, it does cost. Should be some stuff that does cost. So this is extra stuff that you guys normally don't see in here, and about the Bigfoot stuff that we do, and doing some special courses on Native American stuff that is definitely not stuff that I talk about personally. Stuff. So there's some stuff on there that's going to be very interesting. So a lot of Native American stuff, and possibly learning how to speak some stuff. So going to be doing that on the Patreon stuff. And if you guys wanted to donate stuff, you guys can donate it through Patreon or through Facebook, or have PayPal and stuff like that here soon. But we don't really ask for that much, of course, because we 2 hours and 40 minutes into the stream, we'll plug it where you can donate. So it's not like we've really asked for and stuff. So if people actually want to hear, they have to go 2 hours and 40 minutes into a stream before we even hear about a place to donate to. So we don't advertise it and stuff, but we do have places and stuff that we're gonna be available for people, because there's people who have asked me and emailed me where they can go and stuff. So if you guys want to support, donate and stuff, at least with PayPal, there's going to be some special stuff that you guys can see if you want to go through that route, and you can donate through other avenues that we'll put up. So PayPal is going to be a little bit special, it's kind of what it's about. So it's going to be more premium and exclusive stuff that I don't do and don't really show and talk about with people, and go explore deep into some teachings, some ways you can and elaborate with and help people too. It's going to be a big workshop with other states and of Native American work. So if you want to go down the avenue of learning Native American and different aspects and applying to Bigfoot, then we're going to be doing that and personally going through that, and we can go into different states, not just Michigan. So there's a lot of study and planning that has been done to give you guys that, if you guys really want to. And this is for people who are really want to do it. So, because it takes up my time to learn that, and if I'm going to present it to you guys and make more videos than I do, and spend more time working on the stuff, and it's going to cost, because it's more work, and it's not easy. I don't know if anyone actually works on videos and does this kind of stuff and looks into stuff and tries to read different articles and all sorts of stuff. It takes a lot of time. There's a lot of information, a lot of research and effort that goes into this. And you can talk to a lot of people and they'll say the same thing. And when you spend that much time and effort into it, I mean, it's a lot of time that you take away. So anyways, those are places where you can are going to be able to donate, and at least to get more exclusive content if you donate through PayPal. On here there's super chats and stuff like that, and there's I could do memberships and stuff like that too on here and stuff like that, but we're not really big into it. So, and don't worry, we're not asking for donations really. And if you wanted to, there's people who want to and stuff, people who just like to support researchers in general. So but Patreon's pretty good. It's $5 a month for basic membership. If you want to, $5 one time donation, that's it, or whatever. And yeah, so there's some exclusive stuff on there anyways. And well, what can I say? There's a little bit of a plug-in right there for you guys, not too much. So because it does cost money. It costs money to do all this and all the stuff that we learn, and actually going out there and researching and gas and all that does cost. And doing the extra stuff and extra videos and extra shop work and language videos for you guys definitely would take a little bit away from more time away. So, anyways, James, what else is there to talk about that you want to plug in and stuff? Because we're gonna be shutting the stream down here shortly. We'll do a 3-hour stream and then.
No, you can end it soon. I don't think we got much more to talk about.
All right.
Rafael.
Gas money.
Oh
Yeah.
God, I can't pronounce that. Rafaela Hans said she's 100% certain that the Disney thing was a thing because it was big news at the time. But who knows?
Yeah, we have the technology. I think, yeah. Again, you're super rich person who's eccentric and doesn't want to die. They try to use their power and money to figure out how not to do that. So that gets into that Illuminati stuff. A lot of rich people and powerful people end up going down that way because of fear of death and stuff like that. So, but anyways, yeah, gas money and stuff. So that's what the donation's for, to help out, mainly to help fund the research and stuff. So make us be able to stay out there longer, do more things. Honestly, that's all we do. I mean, we're just trying to be honest about it. I mean, we're out there, we're trying to do our best and trying to get evidence on camera and audio of our encounters and of Sasquatch evidence or any other cryptid we come across, any other odd thing. We're going to do our best to get it on camera, and we're going to be honest about how we tell a situation, a story. So that's all we can do, and that's just how we are. And our group has evolved the last year, and there's a lot of members who are not here anymore, and for a lot of different reasons, actually, and a lot of growth from that, and working with people and understanding people and researching Bigfoot at the same time. People are people, and fortunately, that's how it is. So, but from that is growth and understanding and more determination. So, and light, I think our weight is, a little bit lighter on our back. So, I'm definitely more determined, and I've been thinking about a lot more stuff, a lot of things, and application wise. So you're going to see a lot of things, guys. You're going to see what you guys are going to see is the evidence. So either I'm talking bullshit, or this year we're going to have some good stuff to show you guys. So we'll see, I guess. You guys can wait, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong. So, which I have a feeling I'm going to be right. We're going to kick some ass. We're going to get some good stuff. And I have a feeling other people are too. And I'm ecstatic and happy about it. And I hope those people in other states definitely do. And it'll be a good year and stuff. So, yeah. So we're going to just going to go out there and do it. We're just going to do it our way and do it how I've been doing it. And we're going to have Collar Kid as our tool and arsenal for his awesome vocals, and Tyler's gonna be out there. We're gonna have our other members out there.
I mean, you have good vocals too.
I like being the backup vocals, but yeah, I mean,
okay.
I don't like to brag, but yeah, we do utilize vocals. We do make calls out there, and we make a variety of calls actually, and sometimes we do call blast out there. The Collar Kid is a tool
we try not to do it in the camp though.
It just depends on the situation and what we feel. Honestly, it's our gut feeling, and we have got responses from call blasting. We've got responses from not call blasting at all, but low whoops and low stuff, and seems to work. And we've done tree knocks, and we try a variety of different stuff, and it's not like we're trying to scream out there all the time and try to get something, but we use a variety of stuff, and some of it has worked out. Sometimes it doesn't work out in a particular areas, same areas that it did. So we're just trying to do whatever works to get evidence and show you guys, and hopefully not make make the Bigfoot mad at us and get interactions and build up a relationship, because that's the ultimate goal, is getting a relationship going. Okay, because oh yeah, we get the next Patterson film, we get some good footage. Oh yeah, it's awesome stuff. And then what? What? We're gonna wait 50 more years until another Patterson video is shot and captured? Or hopefully with that technology by then, it probably wouldn't. It'd be very easy and stuff. So, but what I'm saying is, once we have another video of the Patterson shot, we have to step up our game and get to the next level, which would be interaction, filming whole events of Sasquatch interaction, or how Sasquatch operate in their own habits. How do they hunt a deer? Just like National Geographic does with all these other animals in their own environment. You would have to, again, film and have some interaction and film these creatures doing their everyday lives. It's a step above, beyond just getting, a Patterson shot and then, oh, there's evidence of it. And, oh, it's even if it's proven real and stuff, oh, it's like, yeah, but we still don't, it's like, okay, they're real. And so, well, you still don't know nothing about them. You still don't know what they do every single day and exactly what they eat. You don't know exactly what their diet is. I mean, there's a lot of researchers who have dialed it in pretty good and know their diet. I would say a majority of their diet, but not every single thing. And, to be able to film these interactions, how do they, care for their young? How do they hunt? What do the young do at what ages and stuff? And at what age does a young adolescent juvenile become a male or a young adult? And all these different things. So filming and getting evidence of that, and hopefully good interaction, we'll probably have a better understanding of everything they do. So you probably have, like other great apes and other humanoids and other known hominins, like Neanderthals, they did hunt and went to war with humans, with Homo sapiens, and they have found evidence of cannibalization from Neanderthals. So these creatures do have the ability to probably eat us and eat humans. You're pretty soft and pretty easy prey, and they eat everything else. I think they eat a majority of plants, though. Maybe aquatic plants, actually, but they definitely eat protein. So yeah. Because protein is, definitely delicious and builds up a lot of stuff that you need. But plant life is more plentiful and more available and stuff, and more variety. And you can get some pretty big muscles off plant protein, and then you dial it in some meat in there too, and you can some heavy meat too. A big diet of all that. I mean, how do you think they get so robust and muscular and stuff? They eat good. They live out there, and they are naturally built physically like great apes, wild great apes, like not like humans, but are naturally muscle bound and robust, and get their strength naturally through this evolution that they've done. And humans, we kind of have to work out and stay in shape, and the people who want to fake it and stuff, they take steroids and stuff. But real people, they don't do that. They do the work, right? So again, so yeah, but they've evolved completely different than other great apes. Though they've evolved to live in areas all across the world, but here in North America, to live in environments that are not conducive to great apes, as the scientific community would say. But they have evolved to observe things, and that's what they do. They observe you in the environment, and they go all around you, and they observe you, and they are always observing for the opportunity, for the situation. That's how they hunt. That's how they survive. That's how they stay hidden. Is they're in place already to spot you. So when you're in the woods and you're making your way across a trail, especially a trail that's marked out for people, and all the people who stay on the trail, they're set up to spot all this. But they're set up in areas to spot you when you're in the woods, and they strategize in whatever you do. They pretty much go around you and follow you and watch you, especially at nighttime. And they are deathly quiet. And that's pretty much how they know. And they can be so stealthy, is they already spotted you and they already know you're there. So you're not gonna usually sneak up on one unless you're in the right circumstances where it can't hear you sneak up on it, or it can't smell you and stuff. But I don't think sneaking up on one is probably not good, because you don't want to surprise it. Surprise a big animal. Usually, it's not good. You don't want to surprise a bear, right? So it does happen. People do, and we probably don't hear about the ones who don't survive, other than they go missing, right? So, anyways, James, we're gonna shut this stream down here pretty soon. I got some stuff I gotta work on. Might stay up another hour and stuff. Who knows? Or go to bed and wake up early. Put together some stuff we've got, and of course the Knox and stuff for the Patreon for you guys. If you guys want to go there, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Good next week we'll have another live show and get some guests here on the next couple of weeks actually, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good year for you guys, and it's gonna be a good year for the Lost Cryptids, and we got some work to do. So if you guys wanted to make it happen, then you guys will be put the work in yourselves, and we're collaborating with some people too. So we're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you guys really don't know about, and stuff that I like to keep secret. So we've got some people checking out stuff, and some other people working behind the scenes with. So hopefully this year's fantastic for all of us. So that's what we're all trying to help each other and work together. So
All right.
Well, there's nothing else from the chat, guys. We will be shutting this down. Thanks everyone for watching. We really, really appreciate the support. Appreciate your time that you take to watch this show and what we talk about, and we hope to always provide you great, awesome content. And if people want to come on, like Cryptid C, we can schedule a show where you could just come on, but there will be more open mic nights. Don't be afraid. Come on, discuss, debate. Things can get heated and stuff like that, but as long as we keep it cool, friendly, comical, and collective, there's no reason why we can't handle it and stay friends, of course. And it's just Bigfoot, but yeah, even skeptics want to come on. We could actually have some sort of debate, but I would have to say and warn you that I'm pretty heavily. Oh, I know they're real. Let's just say that. So, but we can certainly do that and talk about anything. We're pretty open. So, James, you want to plug in anything? Everyone subscribe to the Collie Kid, his channel.
Nah, it's fine.
Nah.
I don't upload anymore anyways.
Get him some subscribers, of course, and let's spread the love, of course, and subscribe to Cryptid C. She does some good work, and subscribe to there were some other channels earlier, like Central Florida Bigfoot with Matt, and even Squatch Talk with Pat. He does a pretty interesting show and different debates, and has some interesting people, on, and Of course, check out Bigfoot Odyssey with Carrie Arnold, 168. Awesome stuff. Documentary I was on. And Carrie, of course, with Bigfoot Odyssey, has a wonderful show. Does it different nights with different hosts, and they do a great job over there. And he's pretty committed and does put the work in his own way, and is definitely gonna, I think, do a lot more. So there's a lot of channels out there. A lot of great people doing a lot of great work. So we raise our cups and cheers to all of them, and hopefully we can have an awesome year, guys. So check out everyone, and if there's nothing else, guys, we will be ending it. So just remember one thing: you check out all our videos. We got a lot of good evidence on there, a lot of good different little mini YouTube documentaries, and variety of stuff that you guys can watch and see for yourselves. That, in fact, we definitely are out there trying to get evidence, and we got some stuff to show you guys. So check out Bigfoot on Both Sides of Me. That was a pretty hardcore evidence that I got by myself, that they're walking on Bigfoot, both sides of me. They announced their presence to me after I'm try to get a response and stuff. And long story short, got a variety of stuff on the channel that you guys can check out. That doesn't get seen, doesn't get the views and notoriety, because it's very hard, the algorithms and stuff, and they are censoring Bigfoot content and channels. There's a lot of bigger channels, smaller channels, and in between who have seen some oddities and some weird stuff going on with their channels and subscribers, and people not being able to get notified when stuff is being put out. So make sure to click the bell when you guys subscribe, and when you're watching your videos, and when you're watching our videos and our evidence, go up, click your settings, and make sure your resolution is at the highest at all times, because YouTube will put you down to 480 or 420p or even lower to 140p.
Well, it depends on your internet connection. That's
It
why.
depends. It most often than not, when you first start out in the apps, you put it all the way down. You have to manually put the resolution up the highest, and you will get a very different clarity. So just guys remember that in each and every single video you guys look at when you're reviewing evidence from the Lost Cryptids Conservatory and the Caller Kid and anyone else that you guys want to watch. So, all right, James, buddy boy, thank you for hosting with me. I appreciate everything.
Yep,
been
you're
a
welcome.
Great buddy, great friend, member, and we have a pretty kick-ass year. So everyone, have a good night, and we'll see you guys again later.